The Fall Guy is the movie of the summer, and ladies, it is also a rom-com. Hey y'all, my name is Sasha Raquel, and today we're going to be talking about The Fall Guy, Ryan Gosling's newest action blockbuster and general love letter to the stunt community. Let me give you a brief rundown. Stuntman Cole Seavers is on a mission to win back the love of his life, Joni Moreno, the director of the new blockbuster movie that he happens to be working on. When the lead of the film goes missing, the production is in danger of being shut down, and there's only one man who can save the day and win the girl of his dreams. This movie is so fun, and I think as a society, we have forgotten how to have fun at the movies, and this movie knows how to remind us how much we like to have fun. I'm not talking about a go into a movie and shut your brain off fun movie. I get that some people like that. I'm not one of them, okay? I don't like shutting my brain off. I have more fun when my brain is doing little somersaults and cartwheels, and that is what this movie will have your brain doing. Especially if you're a fan of movies about movie making. So this movie, already the second it gets going, like first 5 minutes of the movie, I was already like, I am moving and grooving. The way they do the opening credits of the movie are so creative and good. The exposition really works in this to really set you up for an understanding of where our characters are and setting up their kind of core wants. Colt loves being a stuntman and loves Jody. He's a simple man, okay? And we get all of our kind of cast of characters very quickly, which let me tell you something, this cast is stacked. Like we have Hannah Waddingham, Winston Duke, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and those are just your supporting characters. We have Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt playing the leads. This was just serendipitous. It was beautiful. Everyone you can tell is having immense amounts of fun on this set. Which, speaking of sets, that's kind of where most of the setting of the movie is on a film set, which is such a good time and really allows this movie to be as meta really should be and done in the best possible way. I think we've seen a lot of things in recent years really try to aim for that super meta, self-referential, self-deprecating version, and I think a lot of things do it better than other things, and I think as the years have gone on, people have kind of gotten tired of this in some ways because it's like I just want to get lost in the movie. I don't need to be reminded that like, oh, this is really clever the whole time. However, I'm a sucker for it pretty much every time that it's not done in a way that's obnoxious. And in this movie, I think the way that makes it work so well is it's in a way that highlights the stunt community. I think the stunt community and stunt performers have been one of the massively overlooked sides of Hollywood in its history. Stunts are pretty essential to Hollywood, and most of the films that make the most amount of money have stunts in them. And so this movie is a huge love letter to that community and allows itself to not just be like, we should be taken seriously. We're stunt performers. We like to have fun too, but we do good work and we make these things possible. And some of the ways I think they do this is by setting up the opening scene with a stunt that's being performed, and you see how on set everyone's preparing for safety and making sure everything's in the right places. You realize what goes into maybe a 5-second clip in a movie, like somebody rappelling from a building. And then the whole rest of the movie, every time there is a stunt, and there are a lot of them, you're thinking that there's an actual stunt performer performing because the main character of the movie is a stunt performer and he's having to do that. So there must be a stunt performer for Ryan Gosling. And a lot of times, there's also a lot of times this movie takes crack at actors who are like doing their own stunts all the time. And I think we can point and know possibly who they might be talking about without being super shady. It's just a really interesting way to make your audience hyper aware of the fact that a lot of safety and potential personal injury threat comes with this job to make something look cool in a movie, again, for possibly a very small percentage of time on screen. There's also some really interesting little Easter eggs for people who might be picking up on that. For example, in one scene, Ryan Gosling is wearing a shirt that says union on it. Yahtzee is the union that stunt performers would fall under. That's such a clever way to put that at the forefront. The other thing this film does really well, and I think a lot of action movies that have become cult classics also do this, and the one that comes to mind for me always is Die Hard. The way that Die Hard is an extremely well written and tight film on a narrative level and is able to set up things that pay off really well, The Fall Guy follows in that tradition. It sets up a lot of elements at the beginning that in some ways you don't think are as important. Sometimes they utilize something for a multi-purpose. For example, there's a product placement joke about a Ram truck, which of course is actually a Ram truck in this movie, which is probably product placement itself, but that truck evidently becomes more and more important as the story goes on. I also think this film did an excellent job with music, like so good. The other random thoughts I had about this movie, which I just randomly jotted down, were there was a really great representation for sticky note lovers, which I have to go run and grab it, but with the important role that sticky notes play in this film, I love the fact that everyone at my screening got a sticky note like this. I am definitely guilty of some of the usage of obsessive sticky notes and writing slightly dumb things on them, but I loved the way that that was played in the film. This movie is just such a fun time, and I think one of the things that's being missed in the marketing, because now that it's been released over the weekend, I've seen that it hasn't had the greatest box office reception, and I think partially that's because the film and any of the descriptions you look up seems to really focus on the action part, which of course it's a stunt-loving film. The director is a former stuntman himself. Obviously that's a huge narrative part of this story, but I do think there's a romance storyline here that I think a lot of people will really love if they're able to get their butt in the seat, if you will, and not judge this movie prior to seeing it, because I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. There's so many silly random things that just all work together and make this feel like a blockbuster summer hit while also being about a blockbuster summer hit. There's also a end credit scene, so don't forget to stay. It's honestly just a really fun little bonus scene, so I would stick around for it if I were you. That has been my review of The Fall Guy, guys. This one genuinely is like one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie of the year, because while I've loved films like Challengers and I can really appreciate films like Dune, this one just really hit home for me and I can't wait to see this again. So please leave me your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, y'all.